Sports.
The Rays brought the lumber to the Trop last night, blasting 3 homers en route to scoring 11 runs, while Blake Snell took care of business on the mound, leaving the Nats frustrated and shaking their heads in the shutout defeat. Today, Tampa Bay looks for their 5th straight win, but they face a tough task as Washington sends their ace to the hill, Max Scherzer. Tuesday baseball from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. The early bird gets the worm and possibly the win today. One of just 3 12-10 starts this season for the Rays as they look to complete a 2-game interleague sweep against Max Scherzer and the Washington Nationals. Inside the broadcast booth alongside Brian Anderson, I'm Rich Hollenberg filling in for Dwayne Stats one more time. A little businessman special here.
Yeah.
Day baseball, a little brunch with your baseball from Tropicana Field. And the Rays, the streakiest team in baseball, riding another hang 10, big wave of momentum right now. One of the hottest teams in baseball.
Yeah, think about this. When this homestand started, it looked to be it was going to be a very difficult one for the Rays. You had the Yankees coming in, then the Nationals, and then the Astros. We're almost halfway through that 9-game homestand, and it's been all Rays. It has been exciting, and they have been clicking on all cylinders. Let's start with the offense, and you've got a number of guys getting involved. A guy like Jake Bowers, Matt Duffy swinging the bat well, Wilson Ramos, right on down the line, right to Kevin Kiermaier, even with the grand slam right here in last night's ball game that blew it open. Averaging 6 runs a game, the average of 287, 6 home runs, and how about this? Half of their hits with runners in scoring position have gone for extra bases, so they've been able to put together some big innings. Offense has kind of led the way. However, then you look at the pitching staff. Look what these guys have been able to do. Over 39 innings, they've given up just 7 earned runs. They've done a great job of keeping the ball in the yard, giving up just 2 home runs, holding the opponents to a 158 batting average. They've been even better than that with runners in scoring position at just 125, and they're getting it done with the openers. They're getting it done with bullpen day, and they're getting it done with their traditional starter, Blake Snell, who was absolutely sensational in last night's game. 7 one-hit shutout innings, but today's the day where the pressure gets ratcheted up just a little bit to get to 5 straight wins, because you're going up against Max Scherzer. Since 2015, leads Major League Baseball with 60 wins, 5-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, got a power arsenal. He's got some deception, and no one is more competitive than this guy. He doesn't want to just get you out. He wants to embarrass you.
Scherzer opposed today by Rays righty Nathan Eovaldi. That's a rematch of their June 5th power pitching matchup. 2 of the hardest throwers in the game going toe-to-toe here at Tropicana Field. When we come back, a familiar face in the opposing dugout, Davey Martinez, managing the Nats, got his coaching chops here in Tampa Bay. We'll have more on Martinez's homecoming of sorts when we return to Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun. Davey returns to the Trop as the Nats take on the Rays. Rays playing for the final time this year. Davey Martinez, the Nats manager, helped hang those banners that you see inside Tropicana Field, but it was a rude welcome back to Davey Martinez last night. His first game back at Tropicana Field as a manager, but his Nats 11-0 loss, they can't wipe away all the good memories from his previous 11 years with the Rays organization. 3 as a player, 8 as a coach. Martinez reflects on his time at Tampa Bay.
Where do I begin? There's been a lot. Obviously, I got the first, Devil Rays hit, but I have to say, playing in the World Series here, 2008 was an incredible experience. Great for the city. It was an unbelievable year, and then game 162, which we'll never forget either. So I mean, it's tough to pick, but they were all really memorable.
Martinez hoping to walk away with a win today. His Washington Nationals are just 3-7 of their last 10. Jake Bauers and the Rays, however, riding a hot home streak with under 3 minutes to go before the Rays take on Max Scherzer and the Nationals. Well, the Rays riding a wave after an 11-0 whitewash of the Washington Nationals in Game 1 of the series as Nathan Eovaldi takes to the mound for his 6th start of the season for Tampa Bay. Today's lineup brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. Here's what Eovaldi's going to be looking at first time through. 5 left-handers in the Nats starting 9. Adam Eaton leads things off as the DH. Bryce Harper and Anthony Rendon following him. The 19-year-old Juan Soto, another left-hander batting cleanup. Daniel Murphy in the lineup. He'll be playing first, followed by Trey Turner, Michael Taylor, Wilmer Defoe, and the catcher Pedro Severino.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays is going to be right-hander Nathan Eovaldi, making his 6th start of the season. He has thrown the ball better than that ERA would indicate, of 4.91. The problem with Eovaldi's outings is he has been victimized by the home run ball. As you see that, 8 home runs in just over 29 innings of work. Does a good job of limiting base runners, though, as you see only 3 walks in that time frame.
First pitch from Eovaldi. And it's called strike by Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire. Rays come in 38-40 on the year. They're 6-4 in their last 10. That's a take for ball one. When you look at the standings, though, BA, I'm not overstating it that the Rays are the hottest team in baseball right now. There's a lot of 1- and 2-game winning and losing streaks. The Rays have won 4 straight and 7 straight at home.
And I don't think anybody foresaw that coming based on the teams that they were going to face. The teams they faced on the last road trip and then who they were coming home to face. You're going to go right into Yankees, Nationals, Astros. Knew it was going to be a challenge, but this team has answered the bell. Pitching, defense, hitting, special teams.
Eaton pops it up sky high. Adeiny Echeverria under it for the first out.
Let's set the Rays defense for you. See how it's going to line up. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we've got Joey Wendell, Kevin Kiermaier, and Malik Smith. Across the infield, third to first, Matt Duffy, Adeiny Echeverria, Daniel Robertson, and Jake Bowers, with Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
So those two utility defensive men, you got Joey Wendell in left. After Daniel Robertson played there yesterday, now Robertson shifts over to second place, and Wendell gets his second start out there.
Did you listen to On the Road, by the way, the Bryce Harper walk-up music played here at Tropicana Field?
I missed it.
You did? Well, I will clue you in. He comes to the plate. I thought it was odd that they were playing music for a visiting hitter. It was New York, New York.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a little tip of the hand?
I think it's just a little dig by the Rays.
Following a 3-game sweep, I would take it. Here's the 0-1. Fouled off, and Eovaldi heading to count 0-2 to Bryce Harper, coming in 1 for 10 against Tampa Bay this season in the 3 games they've played. But he does have a hit in 6 of his last 7 games for Davey Martinez. The 53-year-old in his first year managing the Nats stepped into a pretty good situation, but they're scuffling right now, and Harper is the picture of that scuffle with the strikeout.
Well, I've seen this all too often here recently for Harper. The split, good action by Eovaldi, and look how he pulls off of it. Doesn't even give himself a chance at that pitch. Pretty nasty one regardless, but pulling way off that ball that was middle of the plate down. And that has been the issue. And, you know, they've said he'll come out, take batting practice, do a good job of staying up the middle the other way, driving the baseball. But once the games start, all of a sudden he starts to fly open. And really, he makes himself dangerous on pitches that have some, you know, elevation to them, that are in the zone, from the middle of the plate to middle in. That's about the only place he's going to hurt you at this point.
And if body language tells a story, yesterday he was shaking his head. Today he's mumbling to himself, walking to the dugout. He's lost at the plate right now.
Well, and you know what, I will tell you from being out there on the mound, anytime you had a hitter talking to himself heading back to the dugout, you knew that you had the upper hand.
Now Eovaldi with a 1-1 count facing Anthony Rendon, one of the hottest hitters in this Nats lineup. Sends it down the right field line. Malik Smith goes over the wall in an effort to try to catch that one out of play. And he gets up and throws it to the fan. Can't make the out, but he does offer up a souvenir.
Keeping his eyes on that baseball. Look out for the low wall. Never saw it coming. Probably felt it coming, not in time.
Shades of Steven Souza Jr. from Malik Smith.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's good sportsmanship. Concern for your opposing right fielder. So now it's a 1-2 to Rendon. Fouls it down the third base line this time. Rendon was 1 for 4 last night. Blake Snell only gave up a couple of hits. One of them was to Anthony Rendon, the double. But it was a dominating performance from number 4 last night for the Rays, picking up win number 10. Now a 2-2 count to Anthony Rendon. 13th pitch of the inning, and it's in the dirt, full count. BA, you talked about some of Nate Eovaldi's numbers being a little bit skewed to what his record looks like right now, 1-3 with a 4.91 ERA. Opponents are only hitting .211 against him.
Yeah, no, it's been the long ball that's hurt him.
That one driven foul again. Good at bat from Rendon.
Yeah, the few hits that they've had, they've made them count. Really, you know, you look, he's given up 23 hits, 8 have left the yard. So you're talking, you know, 30+%, right around 33%. Done a great job against righties, but they do have the 6 home runs.
Here's the payoff. That one grounded to third. Duffy fields it cleanly. Over to Jake Bauers. 3 up, 3 down for Nate Eovaldi. Kevin Kiermaier will lead things off for the Rays coming up in the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first, facing Max Scherzer. Here's today's lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Kevin Kiermaier, one of 4 left-handers facing Scherzer. He's on a 3-game hit streak. He's followed by Matt Duffy, Jake Bauers, Wilson Ramos with those 2 home runs last night. Joey Wendell batting 5th, CJ Cron the DH, Daniel Robertson, Malik Smith, and Adeiny Echeverria.
Now taking the mound this afternoon for the Washington Nationals, right-hander Max Scherzer. You can see his major league ranks here in 2018, tied for 3rd in wins, that ERA, 3rd in MLB, 2nd in the National League, opponent average.
And Kiermaier greets him with a base hit to right. First pitch of the game.
Now this is the way the things have been going for the Rays. You're going to attack him early. Max Scherzer trying to get a head start this thing off. And Kevin Kiermaier just swats it into right field. All over that first pitch heater. An immediate speed and base running threat.
That'll bring up Matt Duffy, 7th in the American League with a .318 batting average. Also hitting a robust .374 against right-handed pitching. That first pitch to Duffy is a strike. I know this might sound crazy, but I was talking to Rays hitting coach Chad Matoli. He said in some ways it's easier to game plan for Max Scherzer than it would be someone like Gio Gonzalez last night, because you know what you're going to get with Scherzer.
Yeah, just too often he does it better than you can do, and that's why he is as accomplished as he is. We talked in the open about, you know, 5-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young Award winners, won it back-to-back seasons, 2016, 2017. And there is the arsenal. It is a power arsenal. That curveball, you're only going to see that to the left-handed hitters.
Here's the 0-1. Duffy swings and misses, strike 2. You think the Rays will be even more aggressive when they do get base runners on, because you don't know how many are going to reach against Scherzer?
Well, that will be interesting to see. And right now the Rays, you know, playing with dealer's money, really. I mean, they've got the 4-game winning streak, you know, sweeping the Yankees, winning in a big way last night. So why not? I mean, Kiermaier was aggressive to get on.
Kiermaier has 2 stolen bases on the season.
I think certain times when you've got a pitcher like Max Scherzer out on the mound, someone of that quality, you've got to push the envelope a little bit. If you think that you're just going to sit back and bludgeon him and put together big innings by stringing together 3 or 4 hits, more times than not, that's not going to happen. You need to create something.
Time is called. Last time these 2 teams faced, Max Scherzer went 8 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 2 runs, no walks, and 13 strikeouts on 99 pitches. And the Rays didn't get to him until that 8th inning. That one's in the dirt and away. Evens the count at 2-2. Jake Bauers awaits on deck. One of the hottest bats in the Rays lineup. 7 for his last 14 is Bauers. Duffy just reaches out and nubs that one foul. It'll stay 2-2. Scherzer, one of the quickest workers on the mound in Major League Baseball as well, goes back over to first, keeping Kiermaier honest.
Scherzer has given up 4 stolen bases in 4 attempts on the season. Not bad from a righty with well over 100 innings already.
That one taken inside, full count. Max Scherzer facing Matt Duffy.
It's funny, you can only help as a former pitcher of watching guys come to the plate time and time again and wonder what it would be like to face them. And Matt Duffy would be a pain in the backside. I mean, he puts together some good at-bats. He sees the ball a long time. He uses the whole field. He spoils pitches like that. If Max Scherzer is thinking about, I'm going to throw a slider here that's going to end up 6-8 inches off the plate and I'm going to get a swing, I'm banking on strike 3. How in the world do you get out to that pitch just to spoil it? Forces you to work extremely hard out there on the mound.
And also helps the rest of the lineup watching from the dugout, I would imagine.
And it's not like overall he sees a ton of pitches, but he can work in at bat as well as anybody.
Matt Duffy hitting .333 here at home. And he fouls another one back. So already an 8-pitch at bat for Matt Duffy against Max Scherzer. I don't know how many guys could say that. It's usually strike 1, strike 2. See you later.
And then he expands and puts you away one way or the other.
Pitch number 9 of the at bat coming. And another foul ball from Duffy. Well, yesterday the Rays used patience and some power to take down the Washington Nationals. They're facing the ultimate power pitcher today in Max Scherzer. Another 3-2 offering. And Duffy singles the opposite way. What a terrific at bat from Matt Duffy. Kevin Kiermaier will advance to third, and the Rays are in business against Max Scherzer.
What an AB is right, and he fouls off some tough pitches and then goes down and gets this one, and look where he beats him. To the right side. Let that ball get into the zone. Pull the trigger late by design. and shoot the gap on the right side. How about the start here by the Rays? Kevin Kiermaier going after the first pitch, and then Matt Duffy turns around, follows that up with a long extended at bat. Both of them get the same result.
And we could look at this every game Matt Duffy plays. He is one of the better hitters in all of baseball when it comes to serving into all parts of the outfield. And I think it really helps Duffy that he's not home run hungry at all. I mean, he's got 4 bombs this year, but he'll just run into a couple and be like, oh, that was a home run. He's content with these ground ball singles as long as they get him on base. Jake Bauers takes inside. Ball 1. Left-handed hitters batting .142 against Max Scherzer this season. And that one grounded to second. Could be 2, 4, 6. Bauers beats it out. And the first run of the game comes across as Kevin Kiermaier scores. And Jake Bauers credited with the RBI.
Very slow developing play there. There's no way you're going to be able to turn 2 on Bauers coming out of the box from the left side there. So you trade the run for the out. You'll take that if you're the Rays, a quick early lead. Bauers, Kevin Cash has talked about his sneaky speed, and this is not even close.
You get so caught up in how good of a hitter he is, what a great defensive first baseman he is, you forget that he's a 5-tool type player.
Let's take a look at a scouting report here on Wilson Ramos. All-Star campaign. By the way, he has maintained his lead in the All-Star balloting from the catcher's position, and it is so well deserved with the year that he's putting back together. And he is on a 10-game tear. He's hitting .364 over his last 10 games. Obviously, on base percentage above that. It's got some home runs to go along with it. In fact, 2 of them last night. Up into the double digits.
446-foot bomb last night.
Yeah. Every bit of it.
That was the longest home run by a Tampa Bay Ray this season. Here's the 1-1 to Ramos. Sky high pop up. And Murphy fields it at first base for the second out. Well, so far, every ball put in play by the Rays has gone to the right side of the infield.
He can be a tough guy to pull. You know, he's gonna fastball, a lot of it middle away, the slider breaking that way. You know, the off-speed pitch you can get out and around from time to time if he leaves it out over the plate. The fastball's in, you almost don't want to go after those because with so much movement on them, they get right in on the handle of that bat.
So now Joey Wendell steps in, the left fielder this afternoon, batting .262. 2 home runs, 20 RBIs. 4th among all American League rookies with that .262 batting average. The 1-0 from Scherzer. And a good take by Wendell. That one's a ball to make it 2-1. And something that we don't see very often from Max Scherzer, getting behind in the count to every batter he's faced so far.
Yeah, this is a guy, you know, his first pitch strike percentage is up over 70% this season. That's one of the top that you will see in Major League Baseball. He does a great job of pounding the zone and forcing early decisions.
Wendell swings at that one. It'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rays jump out early with a 1-0 lead, a leadoff single by Kevin Kiermaier. Moved to third on the Duffy single and then scored on a fielder's choice by Jake Bowers. Scherzer's trying to minimize the damage. Outside again. And from the look on his face after that offering, BA, I don't know if everything's 100% right with Max Scherzer.
He tried to overthrow that curveball. That's all he tried to do. I mean, you try to hump up on it, and you realize a lot of times if you try to make a pitch nastier by putting more effort into it, you get a lot less. And so that's what happened there. That's just a look of frustration of trying to get back into good rhythm here. The Rays have kind of rattled them here early.
Bauer goes. The grounder easily fielded by Scherzer over to Murphy at first. And Scherzer allows 1 run in the bottom of the first. Will go to the second inning with the Rays up 1-0. Oh, it's going to get loud at the Trop, Brian Anderson. The Thunder sticks are out. It's a camp day at Tropicana Field, and Rays fans treat it to a 1-0 lead as Nate Eovaldi gets set to start inning number 2. Will be Juan Soto, Daniel Murphy, and Trey Turner, the first 3 to face Eovaldi in the second inning. What can you say about this 19-year-old riding a 9-game hitting streak coming in?
We're 32 games into his major league career. The production is pretty special. You know, batting average up over 320, on base way up there around 430.
That ball's in there for a strike. 1 and 2.
He hasn't hit a ton of home runs. You know, 6 home runs. He's on pace, you know, full season around 30. But boy, have they been impressive. I mean, he is hitting some bombs and going the other way, showing the ability to go into left field.
Barely got a piece of that 1-2 offering from Eovaldi.
Really burst on the scene. You know, started the season in A-ball. Played 31 games there, went to Double-A for 8 games, got the call to the big leagues, and hasn't stopped hitting.
Fouls that one away. Well, you talked about it, BA. It's been a rapid ascent through the Nats organization. And he's one of the main reasons why a lot of people around the district are saying, you know what, even if Bryce Harper does leave via free agency, it's not like things are doom and gloom for the Washington Nationals.
No, he's a special player, has the ability to be a very, very special player. You know, you start to project him out of what he's going to be capable of. He's another guy, he's going to hit free agency, 24, 25 years old. You got a long way to go before that happens, but what you've seen so far in a little over a month has been really special, considering not only just the production and his ability to hit the ball with power to all fields, but the age at which he's doing it.
Here's the 2-2. Fouled off again. So Eovaldi getting into a little battle with the 19-year-old Soto.
You figure Washington's going to come out swinging here today and fighting. This is a team that's lost 10 of their last 14 games, did not even show up in last night's game.
2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Bring him up, the second strikeout for Nate Eovaldi.
Spread out, two-strike approach, and just too far on a ball at 97 miles an hour and out of the zone.
Well, this is a very different Nats team than the one we saw at the beginning of June. 4-10 in their last 14, and it's pretty easy to see.
Yep, not scoring, not pitching.
Daniel Murphy steps in, and he takes the first pitch sky high to Matt Duffy for the second out of the inning. Murphy playing in just his 13th game back. They're hoping he provides a spark for them.
Here's the problem, too, with those numbers. This is what it leads to. Yeah, the National League East, where this team has World Series aspirations and planned on winning the division. Well, look, Atlanta, the Rays saw them. That team is very dangerous. Philadelphia, Gabe Kapler and his Aviators have them playing well.
We'll be on the road against those two teams coming up later this summer, Philadelphia and the Atlanta Braves.
Mirrored Aviators, by the way.
Here's the 0-2. And it's taken for ball one. Trey Turner led off the game yesterday. Today moved down to the number 6 spot. And he swings at strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Nate Eovaldi. C.J. Cron will lead things off for the Rays in the bottom of the second. WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Tampa Bay Rays. C.J. Cron swings at the first pitch from Max Scherzer to lead off the bottom of the second. Severino giving chase on the foul pop, and he can't hold on to it. In and out of his glove. And a missed opportunity for Severino and the Nats. Hasn't been a fun couple of days for Pedro Severino.
No, it has not been, and I don't know, maybe he hurt himself. Oh, he hurt himself right there trying to hit the padding and caught the camera. He got over there, and that's a catch that really needs to be made. No question about it. Tight quarters or not, he's there in time and just reaching on a ball that he didn't really need to reach for.
Crone swings and misses at strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Max Scherzer.
And then you saw him try to go down and pound that padding and caught the back of that arm on the camera lip. Yeah, bad to worse.
So that brings up Daniel Robertson playing second base this afternoon, hitting .257 coming in with 7 home runs and 20 RBIs. Has himself a little 3-game hit streak working. It's a quick 2-0 count to Robertson, and once again, just like in the first inning, BA, we're seeing Max Scherzer get off to a struggling start with each at bat, getting behind in the count.
And wrong guy to do it on. Daniel Robertson early in counts is not going to expand his zone. Even there, you're looking for a fastball 2-0. It better be right where Daniel Robertson wants it, because if it's not, he will let it go. Not afraid.
Here's the 3-0. Inside, and he walked him on 4 straight pitches. Well, Davey Martinez, that look of concern is justifiable and understandable at this point.
You know, you think about Max Scherzer. How about this? He's got 10 wins. That 10th win came against the Rays back in early June. He hasn't won a game since then. He's lost a couple, even though he's thrown the ball extremely well. He's had 3 starts since he last saw the Rays. He's given up 2 earned or fewer, or 2 earned in all 3, and lost 2 of them. They have not given him any support whatsoever.
Last time out was a no decision against Baltimore. Gave up 2 home runs in that game.
He has been, you know, he's given up a total of 6 earned runs in 20 innings, 2.7 earned run average, but 4 home runs. Uncharacteristic, though, with the command issues. This is something that usually you can set your watch to.
Alex Smith ahead of the count. Scherzer pauses the delivery, and they'll reset.
That was a late time call, which really doesn't make a pitcher very happy. Call time, that's one thing, but that late in the process when you've started your delivery to home.
Don't poke the bear. Here's the 1-0. Alex Smith, a 13-game home hitting streak. Coming in at .275, still has no homers on the season. He has the longest homerless drought in Major League Baseball right now. 345 plate appearances at bats without a homer. And he goes for one right there and misses. And it's 2-1. Alex got a little shaving cream pie earlier today, making an appearance on MLB Network. 2-1. Swung on and driven deep, but not deep enough. And Harper is there for the second out. Well, that was one of the best home run bids that Alex Smith has seen all season.
You got to pull it just a little more. The deep right center be a little bit more difficult. Listen, they've been able to work some at-bats. They've been able to force Scherzer into the zone. They've put some pretty good swings on him here in the early going.
Scherzer up to 33 pitches, but only 19 strikes. And he pumps one in there. 94-mile-an-hour heater against Danny Echeverria.
Yeah, what you fear is that Max Scherzer buys himself enough time to all of a sudden things lock into place. And here he goes. Good thing that Rays got that run in the first inning.
Echeverria fouls it back. So Max Scherzer 0-2 in this count. Hasn't been able to say that a lot today. Two outs, one on. Echeverria takes ball one. Rays up 1-0, scored one in the first. Daniel Robertson on first with a one-out walk. Here's the 1-2. And that ball is hit on a line to left field, but it's caught by Juan Soto, and that'll be it for the Rays in the second. Michael Taylor leads things off for the Nats. Kids, the Rays want you to read your way to the ballpark this summer through the Reading with the Rays program presented by Suncoast Credit Union. Kids receive prizes for reading and receive 2 tickets to a Rays game for completing the program. You can sign up by visiting your local library. For more info, visit raysbaseball.com/reading.
I'll let you know when it's no longer with us.
Okay.
Unicorn. Because I don't think it's gonna make it through.
Michael Taylor leading things off in the top of the third. Hitting .396 in his last 16 games. He was somewhat of a platoon player for Davey Martinez, but he's been swinging such a hot bat, they can't keep him out of the lineup.
Oh, and you're putting up numbers like that over an extended period, a couple of weeks. Good speed out in center field, can go get him.
Taylor goes, called strike. It's 1-2, Eovaldi heading the count.
Now fastball up in the zone, and Taylor gets it started. Cannot hold in time.
Good guy for Nate to keep off the base paths. He leads all of Major League Baseball with 23 stolen bases. 98-mile-an-hour fastball there.
You think about this national team, they lead Major League Baseball as a team in stolen bases, and the 2 principals, obviously Taylor, Trey Turner, the other one.
2-2. Grounded to second. Roberts in there, and there's one away. That'll bring up the switch hitting second baseman Wilmer Defoe, who will be batting from the left side facing the righty Eovaldi. Defoe hitting .267 as a left-handed hitter this season, .247 overall. Came with the off-speed pitch, taken for ball one.
That's something you'll see Eovaldi do every now and then. The first pitch curveball to a left-handed hitter, try to steal a strike. Had to cycle through the signs there to get to it.
Such a hard thrower. If you put yourself in his shoes, you would think it's only natural you want to go back to your strength, which is the fastball. It was a 94-mile-an-hour offering, fouled off. It's 2-1.
And that's the cut version. You know, that's the one thing that he will do. He's got the really good velocity on the traditional, you know, 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, 97, 98. But then you see how those fingers are on the side of it, and he'll cut that ball ever so subtly. Those are going to sit around 93, 94, 95. And then there's your, you saw had a little bit of arm side run there at 97. So a couple different versions of that pitch. Here's his breakout. Cuts it more than you would think.
Yeah.
And the slider and the split. It's a very subtle cut though. It's not huge. Right there's another one, 92.
It's actually a little bit surprising. Big time fastball pitcher, only 42% of the time. Eovaldi. 3-2. Got him swinging. Fourth strikeout of the game for Nate Eovaldi. All of the swinging variety, and there's two away in the top of the third.
Some hitters you work up and down, some you work in and out. It was the cutters in, and then the traditional fastball away, what did in Wilmer Defoe. The really, really good hitters, you work up, down, in, and out.
Who's the toughest hitter you ever faced for an extended number of at-bats?
Wow, Edgar Martinez comes to mind. He was extremely disciplined, had power, a great game plan. Tony Gwynn, of course, you know, was a guy that you knew that you were going to have. Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds, that guy, you look at some of the years that he put together. He had a year, what, 04, 05. He hit 40-some homers, drove in 120. His on base was over 600. Over 600
no one
on
pitched
base.
to the guy.
No, and when you did, he hit. Now, it's not like he had a great on base and hit 25. He's still put together 40-plus, 45 homers, 120 driven in with an on base of 609 or 606, something absurd. His career on base was 444.
His bat got through the zone faster than anyone I've ever seen.
Remarkable.
Eovaldi's got 2 hits in the top, or 2 outs in the top of the third, rather, a 2-2 count to the number 9 hitter, Pedro Severino. Severino fouls it back, coming our direction. There's one of the young campers here in attendance, picking up a souvenir.
A visit, a trip well worth it already.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Severino goes down swinging. Eovaldi hasn't given up a hit yet. Rays coming up. Rays already lead 1-0 against the Nats, and we've talked about this already, BA. The Rays have been on a nice little run of 7 straight wins inside Tropicana Field, enough to make Kevin Cash smile.
Well, the runs per game over 5, good. Look at the starter and bullpen ERA. You can't ask for anything better than that. And I've often thought, and I know that you feel the same way, anybody that spends an extended amount of time here at Tropicana Field, this has to be a severe home field advantage. You know, coming to Florida, playing indoors, you've got to make that your little playground.
Kiermaier singled on the first pitch of the game offered by Max Scherzer in the first inning, came around to score. That's the 1 run in the game so far. Finds himself even in the count 1-1 his second time around. Yeah, the Rays are 19-16 now, which actually, with the way they started the season, it's pretty darn good.
Well, and you know what? You can get fans out to this place. We've seen it when it's full, how loud it gets. The atmosphere is great. You get a full full stadium here.
Kiermaier pops it up. Taylor in center field, first out of the inning.
You get a full house and you get the cowbells going. It gets loud. Or the thunder sticks.
Sometimes I wonder if you have an emptier stadium, say 10,000 fans, it's a little quiet. Does that negatively affect the opposition sometimes too?
I don't think it negatively affects, but it certainly gives no atmosphere, no ambiance. You can hear every single thing that's yelled from the stands. I mean, it's very odd. But at the same time, when you get a full stadium, a lot of these guys just turn that into white noise. It can be deafening, and certainly it's a circus-like atmosphere.
Duffy grounds this to short, fielded by Turner. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the third.
I think anytime you get to this kind of a level of sport, the peripheral stuff has got to be pushed aside. It's got to be drowned out by your concentration. You're locking in so much on doing a job, whether it's a pitcher, whether it's a hitter, whether it's a fielder getting himself set for a potential ball to him, that you have got to be able to block out all the peripheral noise.
Here's Jake Bauers, credited with the first RBI of the game. He reached on a fielder's choice. That 297 coming in. And he looks at a strike to even the count at 1-1. We've talked frequently about the good eye that Jake Bauers has exhibited against every pitcher he's faced. He has 13 walks coming into this game. Couple that with 7 doubles, a couple triples, a couple of bombs. It's a pretty good start to your major league career.
Well, and then when you combine the fact that, you know, the walks and strikeouts almost even, you know that he's a hitter right now that is seeing the ball very well, that he's comfortable in what he's doing up there, how he feels, and
right on cue.
Yeah, I mean, another very good at bat by Jake Bauers. He's just not going to be enticed to go outside of his comfort zone until he's down in the count and is forced to.
Scherzer closing in on 50 pitches thrown already. We're not even through the third inning. That's got to be music to the Rays' ears. So up steps Wilson Ramos, the leading vote getter among American League catchers, and with the updated results, he's separating himself even more from the rest of the pack. It's a very Jose-heavy all-star ballot right now for the American League. They're all over the place. Ramirez, Altuve, Abreu. And what an outfield, huh?
You're not going to go wrong with any of those guys. They're very deserving across the board.
Ramos takes one inside, 1-1. Seventh in the American League with runners in scoring position. Wilson Ramos has put together an all-star caliber campaign from game one. Of course, had that 18-game hitting streak earlier in the season. Bowers is going. The throw into center field. Off the mark by Severino, and a stolen base for Jake Bowers.
Well, there's a couple things. There's Jake Bowers finally getting that first stolen base, and the Rays pushing the envelope against a starter like Scherzer. You start to see him settle in just a little bit and get on a little bit of a roll, and Kevin Cash says, hey, listen, let's go. Let's apply the pressure.
Well, Scherzer wears his emotions on his sleeves. Usually it's good, but when he's not right, you can tell, and right now you can tell. Ramos grounds it to short. And the Rays will leave a man on. Through three, the Rays still lead it 1-0 over the Nats. By the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Well, St. Pete Beach is probably the only other place I'd rather be besides right here at Tropicana Field watching this pitching matchup. Nate Eovaldi, 9 up, 9 down. He starts the top of the fourth against the Washington Nationals with the top of the order, Adam Eaton.
He may be able to make it there when this thing's over.
Quite possibly.
You know, noon start, very rare.
Meet the family at the beach. A couple hours later, got some rec basketball to watch. It's going to be a fun night in the Hollenberg household.
Rec basketball to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not to play.
No.
Who's playing?
The soon-to-be freshman.
Oh.
Playing in a summer league.
Oh.
Yeah. It's getting big time now.
I guess so.
Eaton swings through that one. He's behind in the count 1-2.
Isn't it amazing? All of the off-season leagues and just leagues in general that you can get the kids into nowadays.
Tryouts almost don't matter anymore. The team's set by the time school starts.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's the 1-2. And he hit him. That's the first base runner allowed by Nate Eovaldi.
Yeah, he gets around. That's a cutter, and he got around that a little bit too much, and you see how far he pulled that one over. The cutter usually for Eovaldi somewhat subtle and small. That one got big, and it got eaten on the elbow.
So that'll bring up Bryce Harper with a runner on. Harper's had good success in his career against Nate Eovaldi, 7 for 20. That one high and outside. It's 1-0. Talked about the updated All-Star voting. At last check, Bryce Harper was in the 1.5 million vote neighborhood. And he has said if he makes the All-Star team, he will compete in the home run derby. Of course, the All-Star festivities taking place in his home ballpark. Rifles that one down the first base line, foul. Well, is this the man who is worth $300 to $400 million, Brian Anderson?
Well, this is the big year here. 42 home runs, outstanding. Played in 153 games, but still hasn't reached 100 runs batted in. I guess you could count 16-2, 2 full seasons basically. It's interesting. It will be a fascinating offseason, that's to be sure, because you got to believe that Machado and Bryce Harper will not be signing anything before the season is over. They're going to hit free agency, and then we'll see. So especially coming off of this past free agency where it seemed like the bar was I don't want to say lower, but it was set in a different place than it has been in years past. I think that the deals that were expected this past offseason didn't materialize for a lot of guys.
A lot of free agents sitting around in Florida and Arizona just waiting for their name to be called.
So some people speculate, well, that's because they're all saving up for but not all of them are. There's only going to be 4 or 5, a handful of teams that are going to even be in on the bidding. So why weren't the other teams involved in anything? Or are the owners resetting their sights a little bit?
Count is full to Harper right now, 3-2. Maybe Bryce Harper's just the victim of his own high expectations. I mean, winning that 2015 MVP, was the 4th youngest ever to do it, behind Vida Blue, Johnny Bench, and Stan Musial. We're talking about Hall of Fame caliber.
Yeah, being on the cover of SI when you're like, 18, 19 years old doesn't help either.
That doesn't help much. With the eye black.
No, I mean, you talk about, those expectations were set. They were set before he stepped foot on a major league field.
#1 pick in the 2010 draft. He's got that MVP. He's got 5 All-Stars. Struggling mightily right now. Safe to say the biggest slump of his career is what we're witnessing right now. The 3-2, and he walked him. First 2 runners reach base in the 4th inning as Nate Eovaldi tries to navigate the second time through this Nationals lineup.
That's why I find it fascinating, because Bryce Harper's going to make the All-Star team, is that he would go into the home run hitting contest. This is a guy right now, I think that we could all agree, is struggling with his swing. And a lot of hitters stay away from the home run hitting contest because you have that tendency to start to try to hit everything out, which of course that's the contest. And so you start to fly open, you start to turn and burn and try to hit nothing but jacks. Is that something that his swing needs right now? Or is it like, look, it's already out of whack, just go have fun and hit some balls out, and who knows?
First pitch swinging as Anthony Rendon, he skies it out to right field. Malik Smith is under it. Eaton's going to try to tag and then calls that thought off and retreats back to second. Well, we mentioned Bryce Harper, one of the leading vote getters. He's in center field right there. You see it, 1.4 million votes. How about Matt Kemp in left field and Nick Markakis in right? And you get long odds on those 2 guys being the leading vote getters at this point.
Look at Markakis' numbers.
Yeah.
Over 1.8 million. I think that the last few years, I think a lot of times that All-Star voting was a popularity contest and not necessarily the best players were getting voted in. It seems like the fans have gotten better and better and better at that. A guy like Nick Markakis with the 1.8, I mean, he's got 400,000 more votes than Bryce Harper.
Remember a couple of years ago, all those Kansas City Royals were starting? I mean, God bless those Royals fans,
Yeah.
but
They had some pent-up aggression
Yes.
with those ballot boxes.
Bryce Harper at first, Adam Eaton at second. One away in the top of the fourth. First trouble of the afternoon for Nate Eovaldi, who retired the first 9 batters of this contest. Juan Soto at the dish, riding a 9-game hitting streak coming in. He was 1 for 3 last night, has at least 1 double in 4 of his last 6 games. Swings and fouls that one back, evens the count at 1-1. Well, give me a progress report on Eovaldi so far, what you've seen from him, what you like, and what you think he might be challenged with as this game goes on.
Well, he just needs to continue to pitch. I mean, the cutter, the fastball, I thought that early on his split really stood out as a pitch that had that good bite, the bite that we saw in Oakland when he threw the 6 hitless innings.
And now Harper goes to second. The only problem is Eaton is still there. And Wilson Ramos is going to run all the way out to the infield to put the tag on.
Yeah, all you got to do is just force him back to second base. There's no reason to even make a throw there. Wilson Ramos realized it. Bryce Harper and Adam Eaton not on the same page. This Washington national team right now not on the same page. That's the first time that we've seen that this season. Bryce Harper thinking that we've got a double steal going. Adam Eaton is perfectly content to stay at second. False break and misread. And right here, just running back 2 at second base.
And once again, maybe at the top of the television screen, you saw Bryce Harper's body language, just looking up at the heavens like, my goodness, what is going on? So a good break for Nate Eovaldi and the Rays. Instead of caught stealing, you call that caught advancing for Adam Eaton, the second out of the inning. The 2-1 to Soto. Chop foul. Now Nate Eovaldi has him at 2-2. It's amazing. You look back at Davey Martinez's. Obviously, it's easy to look at his coaching career because he was here with the Rays for so many years. He played on 4 teams in the year 2000. 4 different teams.
That's a lot of packing. 4 different teams and all the travel involved with each of them.
Started his career in Chicago, moved to Montreal, Cincinnati, San Francisco, the White Sox, the Rays, and then Texas, Toronto, and Atlanta, all toward the end of his career. A journeyman, but very popular player, very well-liked player, and a pesky guy, too. Soto draws the walk. And that brings up Daniel Murphy. And when you talk about clutch hitters going back a couple of years, Daniel Murphy, one of the most clutch, especially when it comes to postseason play. He's a career .323 hitter in the postseason. Most of that coming when he was on the Mets when they made that run to the World Series. Two outs, top of the fourth, Rays up 1-0. The lone scores coming across in the bottom of the first. Nate Eovaldi with Bryce Harper on second, Juan Soto on first. Here's the 0-1. Taken outside, 1-1. One's in the dirt. Ball 2.
Having a hard time with the strike zone right now. When you look at this inning, all of the base runners have been self-inflicted. You know, the hit by pitch to Adam Eaton to start it out. A couple of walks since then. Walk to Harper, the walk right there to Soto. Just bounced that split. to fall behind 2-1.
That one swung right up the middle. Echeverria in good spot, fields it, fires over to first. And the Rays are out of a jam. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth with Joey Wendell leading things off.
Terry by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back inside Tropicana Field, Rich Hollenberg, Brian Anderson, the rest of the Fox Sports Sun crew bringing you a Businessman special today. Little getaway day for the Washington Nationals, 2-game series here inside Tropicana Field. The Rays blitzed the Nats in game 1, 11-0, and now they're up 1-0 going into the bottom of the fourth against Max Scherzer, two-time reigning Cy Young Award winner. They got to him early, though. Joey Wendell leads things off. Swings and pops it up. Rendon giving chase in front of his own dugout, and he squeezes it for the first out. Well, we talked earlier, BA, about all the great things for Max Scherzer this season. The one thing he has been susceptible to is he'll give up a home run or two. And I don't know if there's a better candidate than CJ Cron to run into one right now. Cron really struggling in the month of June, but he's got a couple of hits in his last 8 at-bats, showing signs of breaking out of this funk.
I like the hit in last night's game that was right back up the middle. So that's always a good sign when you start to see a hitter use the middle of the field. Start to stay on the ball, do a better job of staying on the ball, keeping your hands inside the ball.
Already a career high 16 home runs for Cron. That's only 3 behind the major league leader Bryce Harper. The 1-2. Taken for ball 2. One thing about CJ Cron, he is a tireless worker, spending as much extra time in the batting cage as he can. Here's the 2-2. And that one's grounded up the middle. Defoe is there. And there's 2 away. So that'll bring up Daniel Robertson for the 2nd time this afternoon. He walked in his first plate appearance in the 2nd inning. Scherzer hasn't given up a hit in this game since Matt Duffy, the 2nd batter of the game. And Robertson gets into one. but that one goes foul in a hurry. Well, if he was guessing right on that pitch, he certainly guessed right.
Yes, he did. He just was a little too quick. That ball was powdered.
And quickly behind 0-2 for his efforts.
I thought he actually hit it hard enough to hit through the hook.
Fouls that one off and stays alive at 0-2.
That's where Scherzer can be dangerous with that fastball up. You know, when you see his release point and then where those balls will end up, they're seemingly rising on their way to the plate. So not only do they have the velocity, but they have that deception.
And he swings and misses at strike 3.
And then he drops that.
Scherzer's starting to settle down. We have a 1-0 game going to the 5th. Two-game interleague series. Nathan Eovaldi holding his own against the Nats and Matt Scherzer. Trey Turner leading things off, the number 6 batter for the Nats. Turner hitting .346 in his last 7 games. The 2-0. Slice foul, 2-1. We're starting to inch closer to the danger zone for Nathan Eovaldi. First 2 times through the lineup, opposing batting average under 200. It gets precipitously worse after that. Turner chops it. Duffy fields. Good play by the third baseman, Matt Duffy, for the first out.
That is a tough play, because on that chopper, you know, Matt Duffy, you'd like to be able to go in there and get that ball before it comes back down to the turf again. But realizing that he's not going to be able to do that, now you got to play that tricky little short hop. And he does it extremely well.
Yeah, kind of a tweener of a play. Fielded cleanly by Matt Duffy. There's one away in the top of the 5th. Michael Taylor slips in and swings through the first offering from Eovaldi, so he's down 0-1. Taylor grounded to second in his first at bat of the day. And a nice pitch there, 97 miles an hour from Eovaldi, and he's quickly ahead 0-2. Taylor played his prep ball at Westminster Academy in South Florida, same place that produced, of course, Alex Rodriguez, among others. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Nate Eovaldi. Time to take a look at our Chevy Prospect Spotlight. And Nathaniel Lowe got the promotion up to AA Montgomery, and he has not disappointed, Brian Anderson.
No, he is not. How about that? Last night, 2 for 4, walk-off 3-run jack in the 10th. That's exciting.
And, take that, Jake Bowers.
Yeah, listen, everybody gets a little excited. You see a guy moving through the system, get to the big leagues, have the success that Bowers is having. Lowe realizes I'm a step closer. I've got to produce here and then get to Durham, see what happens.
Well, the Rays have cornered the market on Lowe's and Lau's.
Yeah,
if they all end up on the big club at the same time, we're in trouble.
You're right, and I need a tutorial.
Defoe swings and misses at strike 2.
Only reason being is because you've got to really hone in on what Lowe or Lau you're talking about, because they're spelled the same way.
Exactly.
Is it 2 Lows and a Lau, or 2 Laus and a Low? Because there are 3 total.
It's 2 Lows and a Lau. I am being told.
Okay.
I have to, full disclosure. I needed a tutorial on that.
They're usually, well, not usually. They're no, I'll say it. They're usually right on the money.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. A quick, effective inning for Nate Eovaldi. He's through 5 with the Rays up 1-0. Up 1-0 on the Nats, and enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Max Scherzer is starting to settle in after a rough first inning.
That's the one thing that concerned you, is because he was a little off with the command early in this game, but has started to get everything working, and when he does that, he can get into long stretches where you don't threaten him at all.
Smith takes one outside. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Gave up a leadoff single to Kevin Kiermaier. Matt Duffy followed up with a base hit. Kiermaier would come around to score. Since then, no hits for the Rays. Of course, yesterday the Nationals faced Blake Snell, who ultimately ended up winning his 10th game of the season. And Blake no-hit them through 6 innings. Right now, they still haven't gotten on the board against Nate Eovaldi.
Gio Gonzalez, the national starter last night, had a rough outing. Struggled his way through the first, not even 2 innings, an inning plus. Did not record an out in that 2nd inning. 6 earned runs, the 5 walks. Rays had a great game plan against him and executed it really flawlessly.
Alex chops it right to the first baseman, Murphy fields, and there's 1 away.
They were not going to allow Gio Gonzalez to beat them early in the count down in the zone. I mean, really, that was the approach. How many, sinkers, changeups, breaking balls down early, and Rays hitters were not even flinching. They were remotely interested in those pitches, and by taking all that and Gonzalez being slow to make adjustments, they worked the 5 walks, had the big grand slam by Kiermaier, and there you go, ball game. Especially with Snell on the mound the way he was dealing.
Echeverria, first pitch swinging, pops it straight up. Severino's there. He grabs it for out number 2.
I'm kind of surprised that Scherzer didn't call him off. Now, you know what? You had your shot. I'm taking this one.
I was thinking the same thing. Especially a gamer like Scherzer.
Right. I'm coming in on it. You're back. Just go back behind the plate.
2 up, 2 down. That brings up the top of the order and Kevin Kiermaier for the 3rd time this afternoon. Singled and scored in the 1st, popped out to the center fielder Michael Taylor in the 3rd. But Kevin's starting to come alive at the plate. After coming off the DL, he now has a 4-game hitting streak. In there for strike 2. Quickly behind in the count is Kevin Kiermaier to Max Scherzer. Last time against the Rays, he struck out 13. Today, only 2 strikeouts. Scherzer with the 3rd most strikeouts through his first 2,000 innings pitched in baseball history. He is a strikeout specialist, but right now the Rays are measuring him up pretty well. Kiermaier works the count back to 2-2. Check with third base umpire Chad Fairchild, and he says no swing. So the count is now full against Kevin Kiermaier. Nobody on, 2 outs. Rays up 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. The 3-2 offering from Scherzer to Kiermaier. And he laid off it, and he goes from 0-2 down to a 4-pitch walk. Kevin Kiermaier on for the 2nd time.
And immediately you start to think that the fact that he was down 0-2, worked that all the way back for a walk. You've got the lead. There's 2 outs. What pitch is he running on? I mean, you got to take that's not an AB where you think that you're going to get a runner aboard. And now you maybe start to push the action a little bit, put him in motion.
Right guys up to do that as well. Matt Duffy singled in the 1st, grounded to short in the 3rd. Off speed, take it for a strike. Scherzer now coming up on 80 pitches in this game. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And for the second time, Scherzer forced to call off his delivery.
Well, that one, he had held the ball for a long time, so you don't blame Duffy for asking for time here and getting it. He was stuck in that batting stance uncomfortably long.
Good take by Duffy. And that is atypical of Max Scherzer. He's one of the quickest workers on the mound in the big leagues.
It has everything to do with who's over at first base. It has everything to do with him thinking that the Rays may be running right here. So as a right-hander, how do you control that? Vary your times. Hold the ball. Quick to the plate. You don't give him any kind of rhythm. You know, if you're a right-handed pitcher that comes set, pause to the plate, comes set, and they're able to time you up, it becomes extremely easier to swipe a bag off a guy like that. But if you're varying your times and a long hold, then deliver, come set, deliver, you know, just give them different things, they can never time you up.
Here's the 3-1. Kiermaier goes. And he'll get the stolen base unimpeded.
Well, there you go. We knew it was a matter of time before he was going to go. Didn't look like he was ready to go, but he got a great jump. No throw even. That was a 3-1 heater.
Third stolen base on the season for Kiermaier puts a runner in scoring position once again for the Rays. Duffy pops up the 3-2 pitch. Murphy calls for it behind first base. And the side is retired. Max Scherzer leaves a runner stranded. We're going to the 6th. Going into the 6th, Jake Bauers getting the fielder's choice RBI after Kevin Kiermaier and Matt Duffy both reached with singles to start the game. Since then, Max Scherzer has settled in, allowing only 2 hits and that 1 earned run to go along with just 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. And Nate Eovaldi has matched him. No hits allowed so far through 5, 7 Ks for Eovaldi against the Nats. And now a bunt attempt to lead off.
Trying to bunt for a double.
It's been that kind of series for Pedro Severino.
Yeah, it really has. Was not on the same page last night with his starter, Gio Gonzalez. Dropped a pop up and then hit his elbow, hit his arm on the end of the camera, trying to pound the padding over there by the Rays dugout.
Davey Martinez clearly working his way through all the strategies to try to scratch across a runner, at least just get a base runner on against Eovaldi. Now Severino takes strike 2.
You had the 4th inning where he hit Eaton, walked Harper, walked Soto with an out, had some base runners, but were not able to cash in. That's been it.
Base running blunder by the Nats led to the 2nd out of the inning, and Eovaldi wiggled his way out of that jam. Now he's got the leadoff batter Severino down 0-2 with Adam Eaton on deck. Here's the 1-2. Swung on a miss, strike 3. 8th strikeout of the game for Nate Eovaldi.
And it's the split once again. And that was something we saw early in the game that he was able to get consistently good late action with. And if that's the case, Eovaldi can be extremely difficult to deal with. You combine that pitch right there with the elevated fastball with good velocity, the cutter on top of it, occasional slider. Got a lot of different ways to split the plate, to split the zone.
So this is a crucial time now for Nate Eovaldi in the 6th. The lineup gets flipped. This will be the 3rd time that Eovaldi is facing this Nationals lineup. Eaton popped out to short his first time up, got hit by a pitch his 2nd time. That ball just foul. Next pitch will be number 90 for Nate Eovaldi. He's faced only 3 batters over the minimum, with 1 out in the top of the 6th.
How about Nathan Eovaldi here? He will pull this out every once in a while. His version of a quick pitch, no leg kick. Try to catch a hitter off guard. Almost got him.
1-2. Taking to even the count at 2-2. Remember, he did that in his first start against Oakland back in the Coliseum there, and that was the night that we saw, what, 6 innings of no-hit ball.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to be thinking that this is going to be the last inning for Nathan Eovaldi, depending on how things go here with 1 out in the 6th. I've heard you say it a number of times. It's time to empty the tank, right? You don't want to leave anything left in the arsenal.
Oh, I think Eovaldi does that from the first pitch of the game. I mean, he's one of those guys. I think his first 4 or 5 starts, the first pitch of the game was 97. Every time. Yeah. I mean, you could set your clock to it. I mean, he just came out, boom, started 97, and here we go. So he doesn't ever hold back.
The collateral benefit of Blake Snell going so deep into the game yesterday. The bullpen for the Rays, well rested. Everybody's available. But Nate Eovaldi's saying, I don't need a bullpen just yet. First strikeout looking of the game for the Nats, and Nate Eovaldi now has 9 Ks.
Right there at the top of the zone, no argument from Adam Eaton. A little cutter. Stayed right there.
And up steps Bryce Harper. Struck out in the first, walked in the 4th. 2 outs, top of the 6th. The Rays lead it 1-0. No hits so far for the Washington Nationals. The Rays have managed 2 against Max Scherzer. The pitching duel we anticipated. Harper swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Well, what does this tell you about the holes in Bryce Harper's swing?
What we see, yeah, and especially away. When you go down and away, and he pulls off of it, even right there. And that wasn't even down and away. That's a pitch when Bryce Harper is right. He is hitting into left field, left center field with authority. Up and away. You can see everything is pulling off. And he's getting beat.
Here's the 0-2. And now with 2 outs in the 6th, the first signs of life from the Rays bullpen as Jose Alvarado starting to warm up that big left arm. Here's the 0-2 to Harper. And this one's driven into left field, and that's going to go for extra bases off the top of the wall as Joey Wendell chases it down. And the first hit of the game comes with 2 outs in the 6th, and Bryce Harper has himself a double.
Boy, and fortunately for the Rays, if that ball slices another foot or so, this game's tied. It hit right where the low wall obviously comes up, a split, it hung up and away, and this is what we're talking about, the pitch that's up and away that you hit the left field. He stayed on that one, thought he got it too. Look where it hits and how close it is. Oh, I mean 6 inches.
That was a 162 landing special waiting to happen. Rays can consider themselves lucky as Kyle Snyder visits the mound to ostensibly give Jose Alvarado as much time to warm up as possible.
Well, if he does stay in the game here, he's going to face Anthony Rendon. That will be it for Eovaldi with Soto on deck. Not going to see him again.
You give Eovaldi a chance to get out of this himself, A, because he's pitched well, and B, because you know Kevin Cash would love to give Jose Alvarado a clean inning to start.
Yeah. Well, overall, so far, so good. Need to get to that round number 6 in the left. You gave up the hit right there to the first hit, only hit, the double to Harper, 1-run lead, imperative. You keep him right out there at second base.
9 strikeouts for Eovaldi. Far and away the most strikeouts this season in his 6 starts for the Rays. His previous high was 5. Rendon 0 for 2. Grounded to Matt Duffy at third in the first. Flew out to right in the 4th inning. He's got a runner on in scoring position in Bryce Harper, courtesy of a double to left. Off speed, grounded to Duffy. And that'll do it. Eovaldi goes 6 strong, giving up just 1 hit to go along with 9 strikeouts. And he will leave this inning with the Rays up 1-0. A power performance from number 24. Young winner in the National League, Max Scherzer's only surrendered 2 hits to the Rays, but he finds himself down 1-0 with Jake Bauers leading things off. First pitch swinging, grounds it to Wilmer Defoe at second, over to Daniel Murphy at first. There's one away. That'll bring up Wilson Ramos, his 3rd time facing his former battery mate. A lot of fond memories for Wilson Ramos during his time with the Washington Nationals. He was an all-star in 2016. Paramount of those highlights, catching a couple of no-hitters from Max Scherzer. And he sends this Scherzer offering deep into the gap, and Michael Taylor makes a leaping grab at the wall.
That's about as deep as you can go the other way for a right-handed hitter. Wilson Ramos way out there, deep right center field, headed towards the tank. Ends up a few feet short. Michael Taylor eyeballing that thing the whole way. Well timed on the jump, and Wilson
almost got you, Max. So a quick 2 up, 2 down for Scherzer here in the bottom of the 6th. Again, no Rays hits since the bottom of the 1st inning. A Matt Duffy single was the 2nd and only other hit allowed, as Diego Castillo is now up in the Rays bullpen, the right-hander. Wendell swings and fouls one right to his own dugout. Look out. Eovaldi getting some well-earned congratulations from his teammates. His day is done. 6 innings, only 1 hit allowed, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts on an even 100 pitches. And Scherzer rings up his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. A 1-2-3 inning for Max and the Nats. We go to the 7th with the Rays up 1-0.
Going up against Max Scherzer, you knew that he knew he had to go out and throw a great game, and that's exactly what he did. Had the split working early, that fastball up there 96, 98 miles an hour, good cutter. One split that hung, and Bryce Harper just about took it out of the yard, got saved there about 6 inches from a home run, but he kept them out there at second base, gets the ground ball right there over to Matt Duffy, and you go 6 strong innings. You keep the Nationals off the board. You give them just the 1 hit, 9 punch-outs, and look what the Rays starters have done. Blake and Nathan, all of them. This is the Rays starting rotation,
yes,
as it stands right now. and they've gone a combined 13 innings and given up just 2 hits, no runs, with 19 punch-outs in this short 2-game series.
And the Nationals have already been shut out 5 times in the month of June. This was an offense that, when we saw them at the very beginning of June, was one of the most powerful offenses in all the National League. Some defensive changes. Johnny Field takes over in right field. Malik Smith takes Joey Wendell's spot in left, and Wendell will leave the game.
But sometimes you get an offense start to struggle, and then everybody tries to do a little bit too much, and it takes them away from what made them so successful in the first place.
So Diego Castillo takes over. Juan Soto, the first batter he faces, and he promptly grounds out to second base.
Diego Castillo, another one of these young performers up here for the Rays. This one, you know, Diego on the pitching staff. Got great stuff, good velocity on his fastball, really good arm side run to it, a tight little darting slider.
Left-handers hitting .250 against Castillo. It's the righties who really struggle against him, hitting only $160. He's facing back-to-back lefties to start this inning. Here's Daniel Murphy, 0 for 2 this afternoon. A pop out to third and a ground out to short in his first 2 at-bats. The 1-0 in there for strike 1. We were saying during the commercial break, things could not have broken any better for Kevin Cash in regards to his 2 starting pitchers these last 2 days.
Not at all. What do you think the way that the New York Yankees series went with the bullpen? You know, they threw 30 innings, 18 different pitchers, and so now all of a sudden you got Blake Snell, Nathan Eovaldi, more of your traditional starters going on Monday and Tuesday, and supreme efforts.
One thing that Kevin Cash was saying before the game today is he's hopeful that he could space out those opener starts a little bit more than they have been. Ryan Stanek's scheduled to open the next game against the Astros in game 1 of that series, with Wilmer Font getting maybe a more traditional start on Friday.
Well, you could see that coming.
Another grounder fielded cleanly over to second, and it's another 4-3 in the scorebook.
He just needs some help with length. You know, when you look at the timeline of Jake Faria making it back with the Rays and Chris Archer on top of that, you don't know when that's going to happen. So you just can't have 2 guys and all that bullpen usage. It's not sustainable over the long haul. And so Wilmer Font is a guy, much like Yanni Chirinos was earlier in the season, that started to separate himself. He's thrown the ball very well here with the Rays as opposed to when he was with the Dodgers and the A's. And so he's earned that opportunity, and he's thrown very well last time out, pitching deeper into the game.
That Rays rehab has worked wonders for Wilmer Font.
Well, you know, when he was with the Dodgers, when he was with Oakland, reluctant to go to his off-speed pitches, and he became a straight fastball guy, gave up 10 homers in 17 innings. Well, he comes over to the Rays, and they said, here's the thing. We're not going to allow you to be reluctant to use your off-speed pitches. You need to use those pitches. They need something else to see and to look at. And on top of that, don't pace yourself with the fastball. Let that thing go. Let it rip. And that's exactly what he's done. We've seen him get up to 98 miles an hour.
And that unorthodox delivery, too, keeps the batters real uncomfortable at the plate. And all he did in his last time out was get the W, pitched into the 6th inning, and held down maybe the most dangerous offense in all of baseball. 2-1 swung on a miss. 2-2 now to Trey Turner. 2 up, 2 down so far for Diego Castillo in relief of Nate Eovaldi, who had a dynamite outing. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks for the Rays starter. And he's in line for the win. Turner looks at ball 3. It'll be a full count. The Rays have won 7 straight games here under the dome in Tropicana Field. Looking to make it 5 straight overall if they could pull out the win today. And Turner works a walk. Well, BA, we mentioned the Astros coming to town after we played them for 3 games at Minute Maid Park. Now these games will be played here at Tropicana Field. We'll see Lance McCullers. We didn't see him the last time out. Then it's Cole, Verlander, and Morton, the same 3 we faced in Houston.
So think about the Rays here, the last few ball games. You're talking about Scherzer today, then McCullers, Cole, Verlander, Morton. I mean, challenged, no question about it. But
it's fair to say the schedule makers were unkind to the Rays this season on a number of fronts.
Well, the travel early on was brutal. You know, 3 city trips, 10, 11 day, first 4 out of the gate.
There's a liner, and it's caught by Duffy. The Nats strand a runner at first, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch from the Trop.
Washington Nationals, they got that run off of Max Scherzer in the first inning. See, Kevin Kiermaier led the ball game off. First pitch, base hit, and then an extended at bat. Matt Duffy, a base hit the other way, first and third, ground ball to second base, and Kevin Kiermaier would come in to score that run. But since then, they have not been able to do much of anything against Max Scherzer, who has walked 3, hasn't allowed that to hurt him, and only 3 strikeouts. They have put the ball in play against him.
And all of a sudden, what looked like it was going to be an elevated pitch count type of an afternoon for Max Scherzer, he's really settled in. He's not even at 90 pitches now, pitching in the bottom of the 7th.
And the fact that the strikeouts haven't begun to pile up is a big reason why. More contact, more balls in play, quicker at bats. You know, this is a guy that came in with 161 punch-outs and 107 2/3, and now only 3 through the first 6 innings here against the Rays.
Yeah, if you just glance at the box score and you see, wow, he only struck out, what, 3 guys so far. It must be struggling. Yeah, if this is struggling, that's why you're a 2-time Cy Young winner back-to-back the last 2 years.
See, I would think the opposite. I would think only 3 strikeouts. It must be like the top or bottom of the 2nd.
That's a leadoff single by C.J. Cron. Just out of the reach of the outstretched arm of Wilmer Defoe.
Just enough. Just enough. Letting that 2-seamer rip in there, and he gets in on him just a hair. Gets enough of it to get it over Wilmer's head.
You got to be strong to fight off a pitch like that and send it right back up the middle.
Well, the sweet spot on a bat is not that big, and you're right. You hit towards the end of the bat, towards the label. There is nothing there.
Now first pitch swinging, another hit to center field. back-to-back hits, much like the first inning against Max Scherzer. This time C.J. Cron and now Daniel Robertson.
Well, and now being down here at the bottom of the order, you've got to make something happen. You've got to get a run, at least another run in. This ball gets in a little bit on Daniel Robertson, but he's able to find a nice area to line it to. Malik Smith here lays down a bunt. Anthony Rendon a step in over here at third base.
Well, Malik Smith has hit safely in 3 straight games, but 13 straight here at Tropicana Field. This looks like it would be an opportune time for a sacrifice bunt. He squared and then pulled back.
Boy, what a save by Severino. We talked earlier that this may not have been his best of series, or at least starts to a series. But Malik Smith stepping behind the plate, so you've got some interference, a ball that's way out in front bouncing. Alex has got to be careful with that foot, not getting it too far out of the batter's box where it's so obvious.
And he lays one down right in front of Scherzer. Job well done by Malik Smith with the sacrifice bunt. That advances the runners to second and third.
Well, doing a job playing small ball. First and second, you figured this was going to be the play. Great job of deadening that ball out in front of home plate. You forced the play to be made at first. Infield pulled in now, and I got to cash in.
Danny Echeverria had a 9-game hitting streak snapped last night. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. He swings at the first pitch from Scherzer. Now Jose Alvarado back up in the Rays bullpen. Kevin Cash able to play matchup the rest of the way. Runners on second and third, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Rays looking to get a couple of insurance runs now against Max Scherzer.
Well, and then you get 2 pitches and foul them both off, and now Max Scherzer can start to expand over the strikeout. And that's what he needs now more than anything.
Only 3 strikeouts this afternoon, and the first action in the Nationals bullpen as Brandon Kinsler's up just off the DL. The 0-2 from Scherzer. That's in the dirt. So you got to be wondering the same thing about Max Scherzer now as you did against when you looked at Nate Eovaldi in the 6th inning. This could very well be the last batters that Max Scherzer faces. Danny Echeverria coming in 3-10 with runners in scoring position. He's got 2 out there right now. A base hit could score 2. And here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Scherzer was fired up about that one.
Realizing the game hangs in a balance. It's a 1-run game. It's getting late. You got second and third. You need the strikeout. He did a great job of getting ahead of him, and then that pitch was enticing enough to get the swing and a miss for strike 3.
So now Derek Lilquist will pay a visit to Max Scherzer with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Here's what's coming up on Thursday on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your local Honda dealers. The Big O's going to break down Jake Bauers and his hot streak, and then reigning MVP Jose Altuve and the world champion Astros arrive at Tropicana Field. Astros took 2 and 3 from the Rays on their most recent road trip. A little payback when they come back to the Trop for 4. So now Kevin Kiermaier steps in with 2 runners on and 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. He's reached twice against Scherzer, a single in the 1st and a walk in the 5th. Inside, ball 1. Kiermaier had that huge grand slam last night that busted things open for the Rays. Much tighter contest today. And he looks at ball 2, 2-0.
You wonder how aggressive he's going to be with Kiermaier from here on out. Falling behind 2-0, doesn't want to give him something just fat out over the plate. And didn't get him to go after either of his first 2 offerings.
That one's in there for a strike.
Boy, he jumped on that and he put it in a great area. Some of his better velocity of the day, right to the outside corner.
Pitch number 103 coming from Max Scherzer. That's in there, caught the outside part of the plate for strike 2.
Curveball. Well located, I guess, right on the edge.
Big pitch, 2-2. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 7th. Kiermaier pops it up. Rendon rages over and the inning is over. So Scherzer escapes with 2 runners in scoring position to hold the Rays down yet again. We go to the 8th, the Rays are up 1-0. Well, it's been the pitching duel that we anticipated. Nate Eovaldi dueling Max Scherzer. 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no runs, 9 strikeouts. That's a season high for Nate. Jake Bauers has the lone RBI in the game. And it seems like it would be logical to say that Max Scherzer's afternoon is done, giving up just 4 hits to the Rays and 1 run. First pitch swinging, and there's 1 away in the 8th. Diego Castillo allowed 1 base runner at the walk in the 7th inning, and now he's retired the first batter of the 8th.
Nice play here, ranging to his left and having to go all the way down to the dirt to get that ball. You know, this is a higher chop. It's not as impressive, but when you've got to be running and going all the way down there, not as easy as Daniel Robertson made it look.
I continue to be amazed at how well he plays at every position you put him at.
Yeah,
well, he picks it at third. He's a dynamite shortstop, and then he makes plays like that at second. He makes it look easy when it's really not.
Yeah. You know what? The really good ones, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. And when you think about Daniel Robertson, understanding how versatility is valued now, not only with the Rays, but around the game of baseball. So he puts the time in. He puts the work in, because a ground ball is not always just a ground ball. You know, ground balls at second, short, you know, the third base, they're different. Same thing with the outfield.
Now the shift is on for the pinch hitter Brian Goodwin, taking the place of the catcher Pedro Severino, and Goodwin swings through. It's 0-2.
Daniel Robertson was out in left field in last night's game. We've seen him everywhere. There is the extreme shift. Echeverria, the shortstop, out in shallow right.
Fouls that one off. And saw Daniel Robertson pitch this year.
And he did pretty well.
Newly acquired Kelvin Herrera, the reliever coming over from the Royals, is in the Nats bullpen warming up. Goodwin in his first full season with the Nationals. Spent parts of the last 2 years with the big club. Fouls another one off. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Diego Castillo.
Boy, how easy is that cheese? Slider on top of it. Another hard thrower getting loose out there.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about Jose Alvarado.
That's so true. From the other side, left-handed though. Got to have one from both sides.
And Goodwin goes down swinging another 99-mile-an-hour heater from Diego Castillo. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 8th.
Look at the run that he gets at 99. That is incredible.
And he's really stepped in and felt right at home with the big club.
Usually when you get up to that kind of velocity, there's not enough time for a lot of excess movement on that pitch, except straightforward.
So that brings up the top of the order. Adam Eaton, the left-handed designated hitter. He's 0 for 2 today, hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. Another 99 outside. It's 1-1 to Eaton. There's 2 away in the top of the 8th. The Rays clinging to a 1-0 lead over the Nationals. Swings through that one, 1-2. I can only imagine what it's like for a hitter to go from 99 to 89.
Yes, completely moving in the opposite direction with a lot of depth on it too. I mean, a real combination of pitches here by Castillo.
Now he's got Eaton down 1-2. Fights that one off foul. reached a C note on that one. Fouled off again by Eaton. Castillo's worked 2 innings before. He did it back on June 13th against the Blue Jays. That one grounded. Nice play by Duffy. Has to throw across his body, and they get him. Another nice pickup by Jake Bauers. A great play by Duffy. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the Rays up 1-0. The defense has been there. The pitching's been there. The Rays would love an insurance run coming up. By your Southern Chevy dealers, by El Dorado Furniture, a different kind of furniture store for over 50 years, and by your local Ford dealers. Sunshine Skyway Bridge in the distance, the Rays nursing a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Matt Duffy made a beautiful play at third to end the top of the 8th, and he leads things off for the Rays in the bottom half of the frame with Kelvin Herrera, the newest acquisition by the Nats, on the mound now in relief of Max Scherzer.
'31st overall appearance, ERA just over 1.5, 28 2/3 innings.
Duffy fought it off, a soft liner to first. Well, the Republic Bank Draft Room, exclusively for Rays season ticket holders, blends hospitality and comfort while offering local craft beers and signature food items. Tropicana Field's premier destination, exclusively for Rays season ticket holders, is the Republic Bank Draft Room. Call 888-FAN-RAYS for more information. Now Jake Bauers steps in. He's reached twice, but no hits so far this afternoon. Read an interesting stat about Kelvin Herrera coming in. The second most 100+ mile-an-hour pitches since 2008, Kelvin Herrera was 619. You want to guess who's number 1?
No.
Aroldis Chapman. You know how many? 2,796.
You know what's absurd about that number? How many innings has he thrown?
Oh my gosh.
He's a closer.
Yeah.
He's in for an inning at a time, and he's in that many pitches.
Herrera will take his second and go home with that.
Yeah.
619 is quite enough.
I'd like to experience that once.
Spencer Keyboom in at catcher in place of Severino. Two 2-1 to Bowers. Fouled back, evens the count at 2-2. Grounded right into the shift. Fielded by the shortstop Turner on the second base side. Score at 6-3, and there's 2 outs in the 8th.
Well, how about Max Scherzer's afternoon here? You know, gave up that run in the first inning on a couple of hits, a couple of really good at-bats. You know, Kevin Kiermaier jumps him, Matt Duffy works an AB. They score a run off of that, but then that would be it. The Rays did put the ball in play against him. Only 4 strikeouts in the 7 innings. A much better job than they did the last time they saw him when he punched out 13. But get this, Rich, his last 4 starts now, he's at least 0-2, chance to be 0-3, with an ERA of 2.33 in 27 innings. In those 27 innings, his team has actually given him just 2 runs of support in 27 innings.
Talk about a tough luck loser.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, that 2.3 ERA, Max is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's above what he came into the season with at 209. But I'll tell you, he didn't have his A+ command early, but he found it, hung around long enough to find it, and was great from that point on. Eovaldi just a hair better, keeping them off the board, and Diego Castillo very impressive so far.
Might have seen a moment ago the Rays going double barrel in their bullpen. Chaz Rowe, the right-hander, Jose Alvarado, the lefty. 3 more outs to get. Diego Castillo certainly did his job. And there's a base hit for Ramos off Kelvin Herrera. And that'll bring up Johnny Fields, who will be filling in for Joey Wendell right now. Coming up on Rays Live postgame, presented by WB Mason. Neil, Doug, and Orestes anchor the coverage. Kevin Cash will have his press conference as per usual, and we'll get the minor league updates from around the Rays farm system. And I'm sure you'll hear a bit of a preview of that Houston series coming up after a well-earned day off for these Tampa Bay Rays. Those have been few and far between lately. Johnny Fields first at bat, swings and misses at the first offering from Herrera. Much like they bred over Brandon Kinsler last year to try to fortify that bullpen and make a deep run in the playoffs, they did the same now, well before the trade deadline, in getting one of the top flight right-hand relievers in all of baseball in Herrera. Only problem is, like you just talked about, there's no runs to support this good pitching.
Yeah, I mean, and that's been an ongoing issue for this team over the last few weeks.
See Sean Doolittle clapping his hands. He's the one with the big beard and the glasses. He's having a great year as a closer. The Nats are #1 in the National League in saves. But when you don't score runs, you're not going to have a lot of save opportunities. Field has worked the count to 3-1 with Wilson Ramos on first, courtesy of a 2-out single. And now it'll be a full count to Johnny Field.
You know, and it doesn't get much easier for this squad either. They peel right out of here and go up to Citizens Bank in Philly. Division matchup against the Phillies, who are ahead of them in the standings.
Almost swept them at Nats Park last week.
And now get them at home.
And taken for ball 4. Good at bat by the pinch hitter Field. So a little 2-out rally in the bottom of the 8th for the Rays. First 2 retired. Wilson Ramos singles. Johnny Field walks, and that brings up C.J. Crone, the designated hitter. Crone swings at the first pitch. It's fouled back right into the Rays dugout. Now a base hit here. Not sure if you'd score Wilson Ramos coming around from second, but that insurance run sure looks nice in a 1-0 ball game. Crone swings at strike 2. And strike 3. Herrera sets down Crone. Will go to the top of the 9th. 3 outs away from another Rays victory. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by your local Honda dealer. Inside Tropicana Field in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Only 1 run has been scored in this game, and that came in the bottom of the 1st inning. The Rays 3 outs away from closing out the Nationals and gaining a mini sweep in this 2-game interleague series from Tropicana Field. And Jose Alvarado is on to try to close it out.
He is on for the 34th time. See that ERA of just over 3. More strikeouts than innings pitched. Power stuff, hard fastball, get up to triple digits. A couple of different versions of the breaking ball. Sharp, late action on those.
Bryce Harper will lead off the 9th. Got to expect you're going to see a healthy dose of those fastballs. Alvarado, the 2nd best average fastball speed by a left-handed pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. Just a tick below 98 miles per hour, and that's an average. He goes inside, and Ramos went down.
I think that ball off the bat of Bryce Harper, a little foul tip, so that's going to redirect it, and it clips Wilson Ramos.
Well, he looks okay. I guess he's more worried about Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire.
This ball up and in, catches the bat. Oh! Got him right in the little raise.
Oh, a little ricochet action. And of course, Jesus Sucre loves it.
And they're friends.
Yes.
They're like close.
Yes.
I guess that's what you do.
Well, if anyone could relate to that experience, it's Jesus Sucre. It's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball taken for ball 1. Harper doubled in the 6th to break up a no-hit bid by Nathan Eovaldi. That's the only hit in the game for the Washington Nationals, who are in danger of being shut out 2 consecutive games by these Rays. Harper showed bunt and pulled it back. Now it's going to be 3-1 to Bryce Harper. Left-handed hitters hitting just .205 against Jose Alvarado. That ball taken for strike 2. So now a full count to the always dangerous Bryce Harper. That was 98 with some movement on it. The 3-2. And it's ball 4. Harper walks. He's on for the 3rd consecutive time this afternoon. And the dreaded leadoff walk, BA.
Yeah. Well, that's going to get Kevin Cash out here.
Now he's not going to the mound. He's going to home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez.
Yeah, he's going to. This is going to be a little reindeer game here. Jose Alvarado's going to go play a position for a batter and then come back in for Juan Soto.
He's talked about doing this.
He has. Thought he should have done it during that Yankee series. So you bring in Chaz Rowe to pitch. Alvarado goes to a position. Chaz Rowe tries to keep said ball away from that position. Then you bring back in Alvarado to face Soto.
Well, the call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. If everyone deserves a second chance, just play Grouper. Enter your lucky money ticket online, and you're registered for the $400,000 Super Grouper second chance promotion. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Some gamesmanship to the extreme going on here at Tropicana Field.
How about this? Jose Alvarado going to first base. He's not being hidden at all. He gets some action over there at first base.
Chaz Rowe takes the mound. Right-handed pitcher going up against the right-handed Anthony Rendon. Malik Smith moves over to right field, and Jake Bowers gave up his first baseman's glove to Jose Alvarado and moves out to left field. And now Sergio Romo is warming up in the bullpen. And there's a strike from Rowe. If you're Davey Martinez, do you send Bryce Harper immediately?
Are you worried about Rowe throwing over to Alvarado?
Harper stays.
You know, here's the thing. Alvarado, obviously, he's not a first baseman. And so he's holding on the runner. And as the pitch is being delivered, as a first baseman will come off of the bag to get into fielding position, just hanging right there at the bag. He's not moving. And you know, that's a question for Davey Martinez, but you wonder if Chaz Rowe would even risk the throw over there to Alvarado. I'm sure he would if the lead got big enough. You could probably extend that lead.
Here's the 1-2 from Rowe to Rendon. Popped up. That'll be out of play. So give us a primer. Explain to us exactly why the Rays are doing this. Why Kevin Cash is doing this in the first place.
Because they want Jose Alvarado to pitch against Juan Soto. They want to play matchup here in the 9th inning. He goes against Harper, unfortunately doesn't get him. Now you want Rowe and the slider on Rendon. But you still want to have Alvarado to be able to face Soto. So you've got to put him in a position.
Rendon. Look at Alvarado ranging over. And it's out of play. How perfect would that have been?
Oh, that would have been beautiful. I mean, the fact that you're even doing this, and you know, the thought initially is you're going to take that player, you know, the pitcher off the mound, and you're going to hide him, you know, in a corner outfield position, whatever. No, we're going to put you right over at first base.
Had a little bunny hop there to play his position defensively, and then you know he would have wanted to make that catch. Well, Joe Madden did this with the Cubs not too long ago. Kevin Cash following suit. Strike 3. Huge strikeout by Chaz Rowe, and that'll bring up Juan Soto, and here comes Kevin Cash again to powwow with Alfonso Marquez behind home plate. And you would assume what's going to happen is Jose Alvarado will take back his spot on the mound to face Soto.
Yeah, and Bowers will come back to first base. You're going to have to put someone in the outfield.
Well, you got Carlos Gomez still on the bench. You could shift him to right field, put Malik's back at left field.
Well, here you go.
So Jake Bowers knows what's up. He's heading in. Going to trade out that outfield glove, get his first baseman's glove back as soon as possible.
There's never a dull moment with this team.
And Carlos Gomez will take right field. Malik Smith will move back over to left. It's just all interchangeable parts. Talked about Daniel Robertson pitching earlier. Luckily, this is not one of those situations, as Jose Alvarado takes a few more warm-up pitches to face the left-handed bat of Juan Soto with 1 out and 1 on in a 1-0 game. So now Malik Smith back in left field. He's played right, left, right, and now he's back in left. And Carlos Gomez will see his first action in right field. Jake got his first base glove back, so he's back at first base. All things are relatively back to normal now. This obviously doesn't happen a whole lot, BA, but
No.
obviously Alfonso Marquez is giving Jose Alvarado a few extra warm-up pitches just to get his groove back up.
Well, he settled in over there at first base. You got to give him a couple, right?
Jose Alvarado has never committed an error as a first baseman.
Well, I thought that was the most interesting part of that move. I know the Rays have been thinking about it, but to put him over at first base, the potential for a ground ball double play, a grounder to him, a pickoff attempt. I mean, all the number of plays that could have happened.
It's a lot of pressure on Chaz Rowe to execute exactly the way he's supposed to.
Well, he did. Picking up the strikeout, the best possible outcome.
So now it's Juan Soto with 1 on, 1 down in a 1-0 game in the top of the 9th. And Soto delivers a base hit to center field. So now Bryce Harper in scoring position representing the tying run at second base.
Soto extends his hitting streak, and ironically enough, of all of this, the 2 hitters that Kevin Cash wanted Alvarado on, Bryce Harper walked, Juan Soto base hit.
So now another left-hander, Daniel Murphy, steps in. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Strike 1 from Alvarado. Harper can run a little bit. And Murphy takes for a ball.
And you wonder right there if there was a little bit of a cross-up. That looked the way that Wilson Ramos received that pitch. 97 up above the zone. Let's take a look. Didn't look particularly smooth. Yeah, you see how he kind of, at the end, maybe expected something different.
Tough spot here for the youngster Jose Alvarado, facing one of the clutch hitters in the last few years. Last year, Daniel Murphy led all of Major League Baseball with a .409 batting average with runners in scoring position. And Murphy sends it to left, and it's in for a base hit in front of Alex Smith. And now the bases will be loaded with 1 out. Back-to-back hits given up by Jose Alvarado, and that'll be it for him.
Well, that 2-seam gets in a little bit on Murphy. He's able to fight it off into left field. Bryce Harper had to see that ball down before he could do much. So station to station baseball. Now the bases are juiced. Romo trying to come in and save the day for the Rays.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. We're back with the dramatics after this. have gotten very dicey here in the top of the ninth. Only one out, and the base is juiced, and now it's Sergio Romo's time to try to close this out against the Nats.
Well, and with one out, the Rays choose to bring the infield in.
First pitch swinging, and it's a shallow pop fly. In comes Gomez from right. And too shallow for Bryce Harper to even think about tagging.
How about that? What a big pitch and what a huge out. Boy, you bring the infield in. You know, I mean, already the bases are loaded right off the end of the bat and not nearly deep enough for any type of movement. One more to get.
Harper at third, Soto at second, Daniel Murphy at first. 2 away. Top of the ninth. 1-0 Rays, and Michael Taylor at the plate, one of the hottest hitters in the National League. And if you remember back to the Nats series in the beginning of June, there's no love lost between Sergio Romo and Michael Taylor.
No, and Romo wants this so bad, so bad.
That one fouled off, and quickly Taylor is down 0-2.
Oh, this is fun.
Nationals down to their last strike. Here's the 0-2 from Romo. Got it! And the Rays pitch back-to-back shutouts against the Washington Nationals, and Sergio Romo is letting them hear it. And here comes Adam Eaton out of the dugout. The benches are going to clear as the game ends, and Sergio Romo was giving it to the Nationals dugout. The Rays are going to win this one 1-0 and take 2 straight games from the Nationals, but the Nats aren't leaving without getting their piece. It was Jose De Leon holding back Sergio Romo in the back of the pile, and it looks like it's going to be much ado about nothing.
Sergio had been sitting on that for so long, so you knew it was going to be emotional at bat for him, and he went at him for a while there, to the point that the National dugout took exception and came out.
Well, just by way of explanation, the last time they played in Game 2 of that series at Nats Park, the Nationals beat the Rays 11-2, and Sergio Romo took exception to Michael Taylor stealing a base with the lead that big.
Yeah, late in the game, and that's what he was telling them about. And right there, when he stayed with it that long, and Wilson Ramos even trying to get him out of there, because here they come.
Well, you see Daniel Murphy, you can read his lips saying, "What's that?" And there Davey Martinez took exception to it and said, "Get back to your own dugout." So tempers flare as the game comes to an end. The end result, however, a 1-0 Rays win. 6 shutouts for the Rays pitchers this season. It's their 3rd in the last 4 days, and they've allowed 1 run or fewer in 6 of their last 9. Making 8 straight home wins and 5 wins overall in a row for the Tampa Bay Rays. For Brian Anderson, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Stay tuned for Rays Live, the postgame, brought to you by WB Mason, right after this.